Oh, it's Philip DeFranco. Oh, it's Charlie. This guy's actually one of the main guys.
Of course
on
you know
YouTube.
him.
Yeah, he's one of
he's the main guy. He's been here since YouTube was created. Welcome back, everybody.
Dynamite intro, Mrs. Lush. As always.
That's loud.
Honey, there's not much that people like more than a good true crime story. Team's gathered some clips here today about some various ones. Don't know what to expect, but I'm excited because I have a little part of me that likes true crime as well. Really? Ray William Johnson is how we're gonna start this?
So this Irish YouTuber,
Bad or
let's
good?
call him Toyman. Now Toyman...
Ray William Johnson is one of the OG YouTubers. One of the first 5 to break 1 million subscribers.
Oh,
Hasn't been on YouTube in forever, but now he does like short form content kind of in the same vein. But yeah, OG.
One night, it's almost Christmas, and he's doing a Christmas live stream playing Vice City. At the same time, a soon-to-be killer is getting on a city bus, and he rides that bus for a bit until it reaches its stop. And the soon-to-be killer exits the bus, and he walks a few blocks, and he enters an apartment. The woman living in that apartment is this woman, Natalie. Now, Natalie is actually Toyman's girlfriend. She's also 15 weeks pregnant. Now, the soon-to-be killer is now in Natalie's apartment, and suddenly he unalives her in a really brutal way, a way I won't describe. He then leaves her apartment about 45 minutes later with new clothes on, and he finds a taxi and he gets in, and the taxi drives him for a bit.
This is off to a very depressing start.
yeah. I mean, what do you expect? True crime.
True crime, I suppose.
And then drops him off in a residential neighborhood in Lisburn. Meanwhile, Toyman, he's at home, he's still live streaming, but because he's having technical issues, he can't really interact with his fans in the chat.
It means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. So, by all means, talk amongst yourselves.
Now, eventually the stream ends, and he's been at it for like 6 hours, so it's time for him to go to bed.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Farewell.
And the next day, he drives to see his girlfriend,
Jesus.
Natalie. He hadn't heard from her all day, and he wants to check on her. So he gets there, and he goes into her apartment, and there he finds her body lying there on the floor. And he's devastated, and he contacts police. Then police show up, and they talk to Toyman, and Toyman is like, I think I know who did this, and he gives them a name. But for some reason, police arrest Toyman. Now, lucky for him, that same day, he gets out on bail. And eventually, they clear him as a suspect because, as we all saw, he was live streaming that night for about...
Had the alibi. Why would they arrest him right away?
Yeah, usually they would take you.
It's
for
one thing to be a
questioning.
person of interest. Obviously, if you're the boyfriend, that's like automatic. But to arrest him over
Interesting.
what? Maybe because he was
Different
like
country.
there when they, yeah, I don't know. But clearly he had an alibi on stream.
6 hours. Now, Natalie's parents, they are, of course, heartbroken over all this. I mean, they lost a daughter and technically a grandchild, so they really push to get Natalie's story out there. They go to the news media. The media picks up their story, so now it's all over the news. They and some others helped organize a big rally in Natalie's memory.
Jesus.
And of course, Toyman shows up. He's there giving his full support.
I'm curious, just before we finish this, if this has some sort of twist or if it's just going to be like a depressing story. Because it could go both ways. I hope there's a twist.
The twist is that it was really Toyman.
But how though? Unless he did something crazy with the stream.
Something. I mean, he couldn't communicate, so there's something to that.
Did he like pre-record this? No.
Himself and someone.
No,
I don't
you know what he
anything
did?
about
You know
live
what he did say? He was having technical difficulties, so he couldn't interact with the chat. That
That's
makes
what
me,
I'm telling you.
That makes me think that he pre-recorded something,
And
went
put
live,
it
played
up
the
there.
recording to cover himself going to do it. I think that's what it's going to be. That's actually crazy.
We always do this when we're watching true crime shows, by the way. Or really any show, not even true crime.
Everybody
we
does.
sit there and pause and we're like,
You
here's my
hypothesize.
theory
Yeah, we
the whole time.
hypothesize everything. You guys can relate. I know you guys watch the shows and do the same thing.
We don't
Have
shut up
no
during a
leads
show.
on catching the killer.
No leads.
Until
Here we
the
go.
police forensics team have a really thorough look at that 6-hour live stream
Uh-huh.
that Toyman did on the night of Natalie's death,
Guess
which
what?
was still posted to his YouTube channel. And they discover it wasn't live at all. It
you
was
go.
a pre-recorded video. He wasn't interacting with his fans in the chat because he wasn't streaming in real time. So police see this and they're like,
Called
what
it.
the fuck? That was his whole alibi. Not only that, the killer, who had been seen twice on CCTV footage coming to and from Natalie's apartment, that guy matched Toyman's height and build. Not only that, but police get in contact with the taxi driver from that night, and they get his GPS data. And the data shows that the place where the taxi driver dropped the killer off just happens to be right outside of Toyman's house.
There you
And
go.
according to the driver, the killer
Idiot.
had forgotten his
Idiot.
wallet, and he had to run into the house and get it and come back and pay. And the house he ran into? Toyman's house. Then police asked driver to pick the killer out of a lineup, and of course the guy
Guess
driver
what?
identified is Toyman. So police arrest Toyman a second time. Now he's in jail while he waits for his trial to start. And by the way, that 6-hour Christmas live stream that he did that night is still up on his YouTube channel. And he literally titled it, I'm not making this up, The Violent Night Christmas. And Toyman is from Lisburn, Ireland, so shout out to Lisburn.
What?
I don't know if a shout out to Lisburn was necessary at the
Not
end
at
there,
all.
Ray, but that's wild. This is why true crime is interesting stuff. At its core, it's unbelievably tragic.
It's just insane to hear how other people are thinking.
He premeditated it
So
by
hard.
pre-recording a live stream as his alibi, and then is so dense, he still used a taxi with his phone on him. So like, if he didn't use a taxi and he didn't have his phone
Or
to
if he
track
took the
GPS
taxi
location,
somewhere that wasn't his house.
that's where, yeah, or got dropped off not at his house. If you're doing this in the first place, you're just a low IQ sociopath, so you don't expect there to be any sort of, although that's maybe a contradiction because some sociopaths are actually very high IQ.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyways, that's a crazy start to this. No way we're gonna get through 20 clips, but let's get
I'm
after
sure
it.
some are shorter,
Oh
but
my God.
you know, it's kind of nice to hear the abbreviated version of the story.
Do you know who Elliot Rodger is?
No.
His story was big years ago. I'm curious to see how it's summarized. God, I hate myself.
YouTubers who did
up crimes. Elliot Rodger was
Yeah.
22 years old
He's like
when
an
he went on
incel
a
that
killing spree and
some
killed
people.
6 people, all because he was a virgin. I'm not joking, that's literally the reason why. On May 23rd, 2014, Elliot stabbed and killed 3 people in his apartment, 2 of them being his roommates. Right after, Elliot posted a video to YouTube describing his motives and his attacks. And in the video, he basically said that he was sick and tired of being a virgin and was sick of all the hot girls never letting him hit. And was extremely jealous of all the
I remember
sexually
this.
active men who were able to pull. And at the same time, he emailed his really lengthy autobiography to his family, friends, and therapist. Right after, Elliot drove to a sorority house and shot 3 women right outside, killing 2 of them. And then Elliot drove past a nearby deli and shot and killed a student inside. And soon after, Elliot went ballistic on a shooting spree, just firing at random people as he drove through Isla Vista. He then had a gunfire exchange with police officers, injuring another 13 people. After
Jeez
driving
Louise.
away, Elliot eventually shot and killed himself in his crashed car. The event was so horrific that it literally has its own Wikipedia page and is known as the 2014 Isla Vista killing.
Isn't it Isla Vista? Yeah, okay. I wouldn't expect this kid.
Well, the story, no pussy can make a man do some crazy shit.
Dude's a little laissez-faire. I mean, he sat like he was trying to be kind of funny around it. Which
Yeah,
is like
it's
a little
not-
annoying.
yeah.
Like that's the type of thing where it's like just deliver the information without the no pussy makes you do crazy shit. It's probably not just it's accidentally recording a murder. Cheeky music.
The YouTubers that accidentally filmed a live
What is
murder
this?
and posted it.
What?
The person screaming in the video is believed to be 31-year-old Laura Wallen. At the time, Laura was dating Tyler Tessier, and he had a completely double life, including a full fiance. And she went missing on September 3rd, 2017.
We just want to know if she's okay. We just want her back.
Disappearance of Teacher of the Year, Laura Wallen.
That same day, YouTuber Sam and Colby and the Ireland Boys Productions decided to go to the abandoned Forest Haven Insane Asylum in Washington, D.C. While they were exploring, they saw 3 unknown individuals, and they were so spooked they decided to leave.
People, did you see how close?
As they were heading back,
That's not so. Sam and Colby, they're like one of the biggest ghost hunter YouTubers.
Okay.
Huge. So, but they're well-meaning dudes. They built a huge business, like going to old abandoned places to do the whole shtick. You know what it is. They were doing one of their normal things
And
happened upon
experienced that?
this, I
heading
guess.
back, this happened. They safely ran out and alerted police, though it was later determined that Tyler had unalived Laura. In July of this year, the Ireland Voice Productions posted a video claiming that the screams were indeed from Laura.
Investigators put the pieces in the timeline together and concluded that me, Nick, Sam, Colby, Laura, and Tyler were all there at the same place at the same time.
What I do not understand is who was the third person that was seen with the alleged Tyler and Laura. Only one arrest has been made and only one body has been found. If investigators deemed that they were all together, wouldn't they be in search of the third person?
Interesting.
Oh my, why is it always pregnant? pregnant women. I mean, I know
The
there's
last two
like
have been,
crazy statistics on that you're so much more likely to be abused or
A target if you're
unalived.
really. It's interesting how.
Oh yeah, the statistics are there, and it's just crazy that the first two, the murder ones that we watched.
Yes, yeah, and we're picking off random ones on the list too. Can we get one that's not about a horrific murder just to lighten the mood a little bit? Adoption scam. Here we go. I guess you're not looking
This
up.
adoption scam.
Oh, it's
is
Philip
wild.
DeFranco.
So it has to do with Dallin and Bella Lambert, aka Della Vlogs, with them recently posting a video called "Our Adoption Was a Scam." Because after dealing with infertility, struggling to have a child, they decided, hey, let's adopt. And they said they were in contact with a woman who was pregnant with twins, and seeming like they connected via social media. And to them, this seemed like a complete miracle. It was a perfect fit, and probably would have been if the woman had actually been pregnant. But it turned out that was not the case. She was actually lying to them and other families as well.
They paid her before they even go. It's just like wired her money or something. I'm like, whoops, we didn't.
I mean,
get
is that the process that you go through to adopt?
meeting someone on social media?
I'm not a smart man.
I can get, some people are so desperate for connection, and like if they find something that's preying upon that insecurity and that desperation, it's easy for them to put on the blinders and forget all reason, because here's this thing I've been wanting to feel for so long, and you just couldn't use logic and reason to maybe do due diligence. We haven't even finished the story. We're just we're totally making up the ending. Yeah, here we go.
The whole time she had on a fake bump and was faking pregnancy. She wasn't pregnant.
Okay, so
One of the most heartbreaking things is that this woman also told them they had to get a nursery ready, but they're claiming that the doctor said that the twins could come early, and so they excitedly hurried. They bought 2 cribs, 2 car seats. They were ready to go.
Which I think is so cruel to do to someone who's been struggling with infertility for 5 years.
I might have come across as insensitive to them. Like, it could have been a very persuasive scam, honestly. Like, if it is the actual person, she's not using random pictures, she's using photos from her real life with a fake bump. Like, that's a whole nother level of sociopathy from her end.
We have a nursery ready for twins sitting there with all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel sick about it. Like, I can't even go. I haven't gone in the nursery since we found out that this was all a scam.
But I will say, with all this, I can't help but feel horrible for these people.
For sure.
Of course.
Imagine for them, this feels like a loss of a real baby, or something to be processed and mourned.
That's wild.
That's awful.
I would be curious, like, when anything is being proxied by the internet, you have to do extra due diligence to make sure it's legitimate in anything, every time. Fake copyright claiming songs. Oh, it's Charlie!
This guy is going to go down in history as one of the
Do you know
largest
everybody on the
fraudsters
internet?
in not only.
Of course I do. This dude is one of the most ubiquitous people on the planet. He is the king of low effort commentary, uploads 50 million videos a day, and just sits there in his monotone voice and yaps about and gets 50 billion views a month. Doesn't make thumbnails, just uploads pictures that, like, just the best. I love him to death. I've been on his podcast before. We've spoken a few times. He's built a empire over just nonsense. Talking about dog shit all the time.
Not
It's
only
great.
YouTube history, but music history as well. Over the course of the last 5 years, Jose has claimed 50,000 songs, meaning that he then took the rights from these songs, and all of the money that those songs would generate online went into his bank account. And over the course of the 5 years he's been doing this, he's made roughly $23 million in royalty proceeds from the music he's fraudulently claimed. Bro straight up found a money tree and couldn't help but take a bite from the forbidden fruit, just like in the Garden of Eden. And now he is paying the price. He may have raked in 23 million bones, but now it's coming at the cost of over 5 years worth of his life spent in the slammer.
If I'm being honest, like, that's maybe not the worst trade-off of all time.
No, stop it. You think he gets to keep the money?
No, obviously. Obviously not. If he did get to keep the money, however, here's a question to the audience.
Oh.
Would you do 5 years in the slammer for stealing money through fake copyright claims on the internet, which is crazy, but like no physical harm came to anybody? Would you do 5 years for 23 million for that if you get to keep it? I feel like a majority
A lot of people are gonna
would
say
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Do the math. 3, 5, 4. That's a 4 and change million a year for doing time in the slammer. Not a bad deal.
Mexico.
So this is crazy because, like, as a YouTuber myself who's been doing this for years, battling against copyright has been a big thing. It was huge back in the day, and we've learned to mitigate it now. But I used to use like short clips of songs, and I don't anymore. I use copyright free music. But the idea that some dude was able to maybe create an entity that acted as a music label that he could then claim these songs, I have no idea the logistics of how he did it. It's kind of genius. If he just didn't get greedy and like stopped after 10 to 15 million,
It's genius. Walked away.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem with most scams and people that do things illicitly to make money.
They can't stop.
Is they can't stop. It sounds genius until you eventually get caught.
And I really do think he's getting off easy here because this is an absolutely abhorrent case of fraud. But the wildest part is it's actually a very prevalent and out of control epidemic on YouTube.
Yes.
So this scam is not something Jose came up with.
Not just with music, but there's a huge problem with people, like say you make a critical commentary of somebody and they don't like it, they can essentially try to copyright claim your video and say they're violating your rights by uploading stuff about them. Even if your video is like fair use through commentary and you're not just like stealing and uploading their they can still essentially try to take that video down based on false pretense. And it's a huge messy battle because YouTube doesn't like to get involved. They make the two people battle it out once there's it's a nightmare. Real estate scam here. This could be two back-to-back that aren't about pregnant women getting
Hey everybody, it turns out we have a scammer on Instagram who's impersonating a real estate agent and collecting money from would-be renters and homeowners.
Sounds about right.
So I wrote him saying, hello, I would like to see if one of your listings is still available. And he responded with, okay, it's still available. Hyro then says I need to submit a copy of my tax returns, 2 pay stubs, and a photo ID. But I want to know where this scammer is so I can spook him.
So I will say, not necessarily this guy, but there are genres of content on YouTube, which is people that specifically try to become part of scams to expose the scam.
Yeah.
And it's the best. I love
I like that, actually.
Watching scammers get scammed is the absolute best. There's some ripping videos on YouTube of people like that are able to like tap into the scammer's computer and like show them a picture of themselves and like threaten them while they're trying to do the scam. It's there's nothing more satisfying.
Very enjoyable.
Yeah, oh yeah. Watching people eat karma in real time is one of, I think, just humanity's greatest little tidbits of joy you can get.
And I can do this by sending him a trackable link from grabify.link.
Nice.
And it turns out Hyro's imposter is not in New York City. He's living in... So I said, can I call you with a few questions about the property?
Why is it always Nigeria? Nigerian prince. Like, it's always Nigeria.
Nigerian prince scam since emails came out.
Literally, the Nigerian prince scam, I think, was relevant before emails even existed.
How hot does it usually get in that part of the state?
Okay, it's like 90.
Is that about as hot as it gets in Nigeria, or is it a little hotter than that?
Click. So, you know,
I love that guy's face. He's like,
he loved himself for that. Fake redeeming money.
Scammers love gift cards, so I made a fake Google Play Store that
I've
makes
heard
it
some
seem
real
like
nightmare stuff about
I'm
this.
redeeming money on my account. They hate it. So I got Google Card. I think that's what you told me to.
Kid Boga. This guy's actually one of the main guys
Of course
on
you know
YouTube.
him.
Yeah, he's one of the main guys. He's one of the main guys on YouTube that does these, that scams the scammers. There's my guy. Every video that comes up, oh yeah.
No, there's a guy. It's the OG. He's been here since YouTube was created.
I'm like the worst. I'm like the YouTube name dropper guy that like nobody likes. Oh yeah, I mean I knew Brad. I went to college with Brad Pitt. I'm like that version of that guy, but with YouTubers.
Only on YouTube.
Oh yeah, me and Charlie. Yeah, I've been on his podcast once 3 years ago. The main reason I do it just with you is because it's always interesting to me how different the worlds we live in are. And it's not like a slight against you. I would say most normal people don't know who most of the people are who I'm like are household names to me.
Sure.
Right? Because I've been doing YouTube for over a decade now.
My guy.
Oh, my guy Kid Boga, my guy Charlie Moist Critical. You know, we were at a podcast one time. I met him at VidCon in 2016. My guy. You don't know this guy? That guy?
Okay, so what are you, an old Italian guy going to the deli to get the mozzarella?
I just became Italian.
My wife said she wrote them all out on the computer, like all the code, because we got to give them to Chase.
No, you don't need to give them to Chase. You need to give it to me. Hello?
Put the code where it says enter the promo code. Yeah, my wife gave me instructions how to use them. Hold on.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sir.
I'm on the
Stop
computer.
touching the computer. Stop touching the computer. Stop touching the computer. Stop touching the computer. Stop touching the computer. Hello? Stop touching
the computer.
Hello?
Like the Chase Bank or Chased or whatever. Because you guys were on the computer before, right?
Hello?
Maybe a way to put it right back.
Hello?
Is it Chased? Because it says 500 was added.
Hello?
Hopefully it goes to the right place. I don't know.
Hello.
I don't exactly know what he was doing, but he was clearly toying with the
He was
scammer.
scamming a gift card scammer.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big one.
Fake redeeming money. Toothpaste Oreo prank.
I'd hardly consider it true
YouTubers
true
who have spent
crime.
time in jail or prison. In 2017, a popular
heard about
Spanish
this.
YouTuber with over 1 million subscribers known as Reset took the filling out of an Oreo cookie and replaced it with toothpaste. He then gave the cookie to a homeless man, claiming that it would help clean his teeth. However, the online community was outraged by the prank, and a petition was created to have Reset's channel deleted, which gained over 125,000 signatures. Things only got worse for Reset when the homeless man's daughter saw the backlash on the internet and decided to take legal action against the YouTuber. In court, Judge Rosa Aragones found him guilty of violating the homeless man's moral integrity and sentenced him to 15 months in prison.
That's actually wild. The reason I remember that is because the punishment really felt like you just wouldn't think that would lead to 15 months in prison, but I have zero problem with that. If you're
Yeah, no, I get it.
If you're willing to take advantage of a homeless man's moral integrity, as I said, for your own little YouTube video, you can rot in a jail cell for all I give a
I
fuck.
saw the title of like toothpaste Oreo and I was like, oh, I've heard of that prank a million times.
No,
but
not that one.
That was done a little
Dude
differently.
spent 15 months in
That's
prison.
different than doing it to your sibling.
Yeah. Podcast money scheme. Is this TikTok?
CoffeeZilla just
Oh,
invested
it's my friend CoffeeZilla.
Oh my God, your friend! Call him up.
millions of dollars were
Meet him at
essentially
the deli.
stolen from podcasters.
And the more the deli.
About it. This most recent look goes past the misdeeds of just one creator. Instead, looking at one company, Cast Media, allegedly screwing several creators out of millions and millions of dollars. Right? 'Cause
Sounds familiar. They don't know about it.
Oh, Jesus.
I've been dealing with some difficulties myself with certain intermediaries in the financial space of what I do, and it's been a bit stressful. But
network, meaning they represent
More on that at a later time.
sponsors. And on a super simplified level, Cast Media
when I'm legally allowed to talk about it.
serve as a middleman between the sponsors and the podcasters. And with that, they'd be taking a cut of the payout for the ad themselves. However, they said that a problem began to arise. Creators from Cast Media were coming in late. At first, it was like a month or so late, and then it snowballed into 6 and 7 months late and longer. And these payments built up and up to the point that
this is bothering me.
Because it's exactly like what I'm. It's exactly like what I'm going through right now.
To home here.
Multiple shows were owed hundreds of thousands of dollars, with one of the biggest names talking about this being comedian Theo Vaughn, who said in his own video,
you told me about him before.
There's up to $4 million that I know of that people were taking advantage of. We're in the 6 figures. I know of podcasts that are in the 7 figures.
And eventually, the later non-existent payments turned into Cast Media announcing they were likely going to go bankrupt. Meaning that these creators were going to see none of the money that was owed them. However, Cast said that they could get some of their money if they signed these new deals with Podcast One, who proposed an acquisition of Cast Media. There, it was said that creators would receive some of what they were owed immediately, some over 2 years, and some of what they were owed would be paid to them in stock of Podcast One. That would unlock after 2 years, with CoffeeZilla saying,
Now, the more cynical view of this is that it's kind of strong-arming creators. You either take the deal or you'll never get what you're paid.
But follow to stay in the loop.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't like that one very much.
Gives me anxiety. Anyways, that said, true crime, how to be depressed at the end of a video. So if you could do me a favor, just like this video and watch the next one we post so we can pay rent next month. No, I'm just kidding. It's not nice. Honey, that's a little bit of a depressing outro. Do you mind if I fart real quick to lighten the mood?
I can go over there. Are you forcing it?
No, I can't. I'm sorry. I tried. Maybe you just add a sound effect in post. Bye.